though I don't see any sweeper cover, which is interesting. You would think with the ball new and skidding off the surface, you'd want to back yourself to keep one fielder on the cover boundary and probably have only one back on the leg side, but he's opted for two fielders, one deep at long on and one deep at square.
And Paras goes down the ground over mid-off for another boundary. Positive intent here.
Very good batting.
Looking to dictate terms right at the very start. He tried to back away the second ball to caress the ball through the offside, but took the alternative option here to go down the ground.
See, that's exactly, I actually would want him playing across the line and not keep the fielder at square leg and invite him to go there rather than go downtown to a new ball, which is the easier option because it's not going to turn that much. And interestingly, Amjad has
really well fielded by Vinod off his own bowling. It's just to give the viewers a bit of a feel for what the field looks like. You've got a short third man, a backward point, covers, extra cover, mid-off, long on, mid-wicket, square, deep square leg, and fine leg.
well bowled. Good comeback by Vinod in that over, despite being taken for a 4 and a 6. 4 dot balls.
Bowling from the Balestier Road end will be Janak Prakash. Although a lot of people keep referring to young Janak Prakash, he is a seasoned campaigner, has been playing for Singapore in some high-profile games as well. So he's someone who comes in with experience as well.
Yes, and he's one of our exciting prospects. He's gotten better with the years. His pace has picked up, and this will be an interesting test of his mental strength, more not just his cricket abilities.
Starts off with a good length ball outside off. Well played by Gyanendra Mala towards backward point. You've got Rohan Rangarajan fielding at backward point. He's someone who does have an impact on the field. Not only does his batting come good for Singapore, but he's truly exceptional in the field as well, Zubin.
He is, and this is probably the fittest, Singapore side has ever been. They've trained very hard, and that's shown in the fielding.
Played straight through to covers to Anish Param.
I'd like to see him get a little fuller and closer to the stumps. Those 2 balls have been, the first one was all right, this one is a little outside off, and Gyanendra is still sort of finding his way into the inning. It's early days, he's only played 2 balls, but
Janak strays it down the leg side, and batsman picks up an easy 4 runs. The pressure that was building onto Gyanendra Mala has sort of released with that boundary. The surface looks like an absolute batting paradise.
it's an interesting field setting again. We've got a short fine leg who is more square than he should probably be, finer.
That's picked away by Gyanendra Mala off his pads, and it's clipped over mid-wicket for 6. Brilliant shot.
Brilliant shot there by Gyanendra.
He didn't try to overhit it. Relied on his timing. Janak usually gets a lot of movement, especially towards the right-handers moving away, considering it's quite hot, not finding the swing.
I don't think anyone's getting any movement today. And that's where he needs to keep it. He's bowled on both sides of the wicket, especially 2 balls down leg side. This is the power play. You're not going to be allowed the luxury of fielders outside the circle, so you've got to be absolutely spot on with your line and length, which is where I thought Sompal did a fabulous job in the opening spell for Nepal. I mean, if he hadn't bowled as well as he did, who knows what the score would have been, as did Buhara. And he even got the reward of, I think, 4 wickets it was. So you got to really cramp. You got to bowl tight into the batsman, no room on either side of the wicket. And that's where
Janak strays it down the leg side, and he's been clipped again through fine leg for 4 runs. Both Nepalese batsmen getting into their flow, getting into their innings. Good positive intent by both batsmen. And after 2 overs, Nepal are 24 for no loss. Zubin, you touched on Sompal Kami. Post this tournament, he's going to be heading into the G20 tournament in Canada. So a really good find from an Asian perspective going into a global tournament, which is great for the game to see.
I think it's absolutely the opportunity for players to travel and play. I used to do that when I was 17, 18. I used to go and play in England, and I used to live alone. And it's a huge development process when you go and you live and you work with people you don't know, and then you learn to find your own way. There's a lot of development that happens as an individual with such experience. So fabulous for Sompal.
Powers going down the track and hitting that straight through to long on for a single. Vinod was lucky to get away with the first ball, but good comeback by him to dart the ball straight into the batsman's pad for a single on this ball. Vinod himself being a good find for the Singapore squad. Not only a handy left armour, but also good left-hand batsman who's able to rotate strike. This is the first ball. Gyanendra Malla will be facing off Vinod. Gyanendra trying to give him some room and trying to hit it through mid-off. Dot ball.
And that's what I meant by making the batsman play towards mid-wicket. It's not going to be easy playing square on the on-side when the ball is new, which is why I feel that fielder at deep square leg is a bit of a waste. I'd give him protection on the offside, which is probably where they want to hit him when the ball is still new and the way he's bowling. Oh, that's not the best effort in the field. I thought he would go for it. Maybe I'm wrong. It's one of those games where you need to pull off a spectacular catch or have a blinder of a spell that kind of wins it for your team. And that's very good bowling by Vinod. He followed the batsman there. And Paras had no choice but to just play it back down the ground for 1 run. Good comeback this over by Vinod. Brings a bit of sanity back to the chase. The Nepal batsmen were going berserk in the first 2 overs. They raced away to 24. Only 3 runs of that over. So good comeback by Vinod.
The skipper of Singapore, Amjad Mahbub, into the attack. Understanding very quickly that his young prodigy was struggling with the ball, and he's taken the responsibility to come into the attack to get some inroads into the Nepal batting lineup. Amjad, also a very experienced campaigner, usually amongst the wicket column for Singapore, has an excellent back of the hand slower ball, especially in the T20 format that has done him really well.
I call him the wicked taking arm of the Singapore side. He can be a bit expensive sometimes, and his pace has dropped over the years, obviously, but it's all that experience he brings in, and he bowls a brilliant slow ball, which becomes the undoing of many batsmen. He's got a very quick action, arm action, and so the slow ball which he releases back of the hand becomes even more difficult to pick. Let's see what he has here.
Paris has hit it up in the end. He's caught.
And that's a big wicket for Singapore. Did I call him wicket-taking arm of Singapore?
You did, Zubin, you did. And that got the bottom of Paris's bat, and he's caught at mid-on. Good catch by Surendra Chandramohan. And the Singapore squad are absolutely ecstatic.
That's a big wicket. That's a big, big wicket. And I think Paras got done by the pace of that ball. I think he expected it to come onto the bat a lot quicker, and it didn't. So early blow for Nepal. But then again, they're a strong batting lineup. They bat deep, and Singapore need to make sure they keep the pressure here. Good start by the skipper.
Absolutely. You see Sarad Wesokar coming into bat. Again, another experienced campaigner, stalwart for Nepal cricket. A lot of Nepal's success has been because of the first three batsmen for Nepal, which is Gyanendra, Paras and Sarad. But the Nepalese will certainly be feeling a little bit of pressure here. Good total on the board. The captain's out of the equation now in the game. Certainly a bit of a dent in the confidence.
Yes, they would have liked Paras to continue. He is their trump card in the side. The great Saurav Ganguly once said, in a final, in a 50-over final, you add 25 runs just for the pressure of the occasion to any total that a team puts up. And this is a T20 game, and the sense of the occasion is equal to another 10 or 15 runs on that total. So it's going to be interesting. Strong batting lineup. They've got to keep a tight line. And what's very important, what was very important about that wicket was that catch being taken, because had it not, if something happens, it just lets the whole team down. And this is where Singapore have been very...
And that's dropped at third man.
That's a great effort, but bad luck.
Short ball outside off. Gyanendra Malla trying to get that over backward point. Gets a fine edge towards third man. Great effort, but fingertips.
Very hard to pick those shots. They drop on you very, very quickly, and it's hard to kind of figure. They're falling in front of you. All catches that either fall in front sideways are a lot easier. But when they're dropping in front of you or behind you, then they become that much harder. And this is not the kind of a spinner. This is of a quick bowler, so it's coming flat, but good effort in the end.
Ball outside off, left by Sharad. Amjad Mahbub bringing all that experience into play. 4 balls into the over, 1 for 1. He'd be really happy with that start.
It's what wickets does. It keeps pushing you back as a batting side. And what Singapore should try and do is keep the pressure on to keep picking up a wicket and not just think of containing. Because I keep saying this every time, it's a very, very hard ground to contain a batting side on.
Another ball outside off. Gets the edge towards third man. 1 bounce straight through to the fielder. Salador Vijayakumar fielding at third man.
Yeah, you could see he didn't want to go for that second shot that went in the air, given his experience with the first one, which was a fabulous effort. And he'd had one in Vinod's over as well when the ball was hit high in the air, I think, and he kind of stopped short and held himself back.
Good first over by Amjad Mahbub. 1 for 2. Nepal are 29 for 1.
Is this a bowling change?
No, we're not Bhaskaran continuing from the... I've been told it's the Rangoon road end. And Vinod getting into his third over. Has done a really good job for Singapore so far. After going for runs in the first over, really contained the batsman in the second.
Well bowled.
Nicely bowled and well fielded. Not giving the batsman any opportunity to rotate strike. Nepal should be a bit careful here. If the dot balls pick up, that can lead to a false shot. So they need to look at least rotating the strike. Well bowled again by Vinod, darting it into the batsman's pads. Not a very big turner of the ball, but gets the ball to move ever so slightly.
Which is probably why he gets the new ball. You know, he's very accurate. He's very hard to get runs off. And he bowls these darts into you. And you can see the pressure he's already creating on Sharad, who's a new batsman on strike. He's only played 5 balls. And I think what Nepal need to do is just compose themselves and play sensible cricket. What they don't want to do is give another wicket to Singapore at this stage. Even if they fall behind the run rate just a little bit, they can always pick it up. There's going to be the 4th and 5th bowlers of every bowling side. So see how they go and just consolidate for the next 5 to 7 overs. Oh, that should have been caught. The chance goes missing. As I was saying earlier, Singapore will have to field out of their skins if they want to win this game. And, you know, a team like Nepal is not going to give you too many chances. And when they do come, they have to be taken.
The last 2 balls, Sharad trying to go inside out. Short ball by Vinod. But well bowled though. He saw the batsman charging in, darted into the pads for 1 run towards long on. That was really smart bowling by Vinod to Sharad. He could see that Sharad was trying to go inside out over covers and was not giving him any room, and that led to the false shot. Well played by Gyanendra Malla. Straight down to long on for a single. Vinod's bowled his 3rd over, and
not a single ball has gone to deep square leg in the 3 overs till now. Sorry, I'm just going to keep harping about it. It's a field I would leave open and ask the batsman to hit through there. He's so hard to hit off the pads, Vinod, and he's given 3 boundaries on the offside. So that's probably where I should be giving him more protection. But it's worked so far, and Amjad into his 2nd over. We're going to have a change. I'm going to hand over the mic to Ash and take a break myself.
Good morning, folks. Good to be back in the commentary box. Sharon? Misfield there, behind square. Batsman managing to get
a thick inside edge towards shot fine, and run to the boundary for 4. So Nepal are 35 for 1 after 5.1 overs. Cash, but realistically, if you look at it, Singapore would have taken the start, considering the score on the board and the pressure that they've created with a few dot balls. They wouldn't be complaining at this point.
No, I certainly would agree with that one. So far, so good for them, chasing 192. Definitely a tall order, especially in a pressure game.
Short ball from Amjad, and Gyanendra Mala has pulled that over square leg for 6, massive 6. Really good shot. He got behind the line, great swivel, and gets it over the square leg boundary for 6.
Amjad will have to summon all his experience. Amjad will have to summon all his experience now for the rest of the 4 balls. Already gone for 2 of the first, gone for 10, sorry, of the first 2. Let's see what he's got in his bag of tricks.
Gyanendra Mala takes Amjad over mid-off for another 6. He's certainly looking on song. What's really good about him, he tends to keep his balance really strong. He's very neutral on his feet, and he plays to the merit of the ball. Really, really good batting.
Yes, for all the youngsters out there watching, it's definitely a masterclass in terms of following the basics of batting, keeping the base strong, getting your head to the ball, getting right under it. That's where you're going to get maximum value for your shots. Folks, we have about 600,000 people overall at some stage or the other. Our feed has gone into. And
that's a brilliant shot again. Really waited on that, got on top of it, and caressed it through the offside between cover and point. Brilliant batting by Gyanendra Mala. He's certainly setting the tone for this chase for Nepal and bringing some momentum back in favor for Nepal.
Yes, Amjad will not be happy with himself with this. Pitched some short balls in as well, which they've capitalized on. 2 more balls to come. That's the first dot ball in the over. You certainly would want to keep the next one to a dot as well, with about 20 runs already in this over.
Cash, I can already see the writing here. It's Nepal just on track now with that 20 runs, 51 of 5, getting close to the 6th over, going close to 9 runs and over. What's your prediction on a close finish here, Cash?
Look, it's certainly setting up well, like you said. Singapore has had a couple of fumbles, a couple of drop catches so far. If they want to stay in the game, they're going to have to definitely lift their fielding side of it as well, a few notches, as well as with the bowling. I mean, it's criminal to bowl short or give the batsman any width on this wicket.
Salador Vijay Kumar will be replacing Vinod Bhaskaran at the Rangoon road end. Bowls off spinners, usually from around the wicket to the right-handers, cramping them up for room. Tends to again dart the ball towards the batsman's pads. Usually has a very tight leg side field, trying to encourage the batsman to play on the offside.
He's done well in this tournament, as he is. He's a consistent performer, and hopefully he holds on to his nerves in this crucial match and delivers for Singapore Sharon?
It's important for the Singapore squad to keep Sharad on strike as much as he can. He's faced 7 balls. Nudged away behind square for a single. Sharad's played 8 balls now, scored 3 runs, and he certainly did not look too comfortable with the spinners. So from a Singapore perspective, Singapore might want to keep him on strike as much as he can, as much as they can. Saying that, Gyanendra Malla is someone who usually likes to dictate terms and has been going really well this innings, 37 of 19. So he'd be looking to take Salador on.
Yes, going to be a good contest, this one.
Salador's that ball was swept towards backward point, bit of a turn on the ball, leading to a misfield, and the batsmen were able to come back for 2 runs.
The Singapore players know.
And he's
What a
bowled him.
wicket! Through the gates. You miss, I hit.
Salador has cleaned Gyanendra Malla off.
A very crucial wicket here for Singapore. Brings them right back into the driving seat if they can keep it tight from here on.
I was just going to say, just before that ball catch, why do I feel there was something that's going to happen this ball? Should have said it. Should have said it.
I look, Sharad, that one, I think we've done a couple of those commentators' curse bits. That's why I've been holding myself back, actually, from really making any predictions. In fact, even just before the ball that Rohan got out today as well, I was just talking about how well he was playing, how well he's approached the game, and I was looking forward to his 50, and he got out. New batsman
Is Deepak Irie, right-hander, usually a good player of spin. Paras Khatka and Gyanendra Malla both back into the dugout for Nepal.
Yes, and obviously they're 2 best batters as well. They've done well throughout the tournament too. And I'm sure the Nepal fans were also counting heavily on at least one of them coming through and playing a long innings. Quick single taken by Dipender Singh. Salador has done well so far.
Reverse played, really smartly played past short third man for 4. Smart batting by Sharad. He certainly had to do something to break the shackles. He was certainly going through a few dot balls. Pressure was sort of building, and that's the experience of Sharad coming into play. He's someone who's played for Nepal for a long time and has grown up the ranks of playing under 15, under 17, under 19s for Nepal, and he's come through that sort of a route for Nepal. Hence, he's bringing all that experience here into play.
Indeed. You're going to want to try to predict the type of ball?
Hit straight back to the bowler. Amjad Mahmood has signalled to Ananta Krishna, the team's leg spinner, to warm up. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting Ananta to bowl, which is the case. Yep.
Exciting young cricketer, Ananta, as well, very passionate about his game.
Ananta usually a big turner of the ball. Bowls really good wrist spin, has a very good flipper.
Well, he's going to have to pull all of that out of his bag of tricks if he is to help Singapore's cause here. As I had started saying earlier while we wait for the over to start, a win today means a lot to the Singapore team, and they very well know that. Ranked overall few notches below Nepal. Nepal already is a team with ODI status. And a win here and going to the next stage for the World Cup qualifiers will be a big boost for the Singapore boys. Let's see what they've got coming up.
From a field perspective, Ananta's got a long on, a deep square leg, a mid-wicket, leaving the deep mid-wicket position open, trying to entice the batsman to go over the leg side, and a short fine leg.
Swept and swept fine for a couple.
On the offside, Singapore's got a short third man, a backward point, a cover, sweeper, and a long off. Good start by Ananta, getting it right up there, causing the batsman to create a shot. Really well bowled by Ananta, enticing the batsman to come down the track, getting the ball to dip, and the batsman fortunate enough to get a bit of an inside edge onto the pad. Really well bowled by Ananta, darted it onto the batsman's pads, got a bit of turn, and 1 run scored.
No, some intelligent bowling there. Saw the batsman ready and wanting to step out of the crease. Did that the first ball he faced off him as well.
For Nepal, it's important that both Sharad and Dipendra Irie stay at the crease. Sharad goes straight, and he's taken at long off.
A brilliant catch right on the ropes.
That was a brilliant catch by Janak Prakash at long off.
He's taken some good catches this tournament, young Janak Prakash. As you can see,
He's
leaping
left
high.
and take that over with one hand, Cash.
A la Steve Smith. What a brilliant catch. All the youngsters watching out there. A great lesson in boundary line catching. Masterclass there by Janak Prakash.
That was probably the catch of the tournament, Cash.
Yes, I would have to agree. As the new batsman comes into the crease, Rohit Kumar. Nepal's
Rohit Kumar Paudel, the new batsman. I've just been told, in fact I was part of it, I should have known, the same catch that Janak Prakash took, very similar to what Tim Davis took off the reverse sweep at point.
Yes, Singapore versus Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zubin earlier highlighted if Singapore had to get some inroads into the Nepal batting lineup, they had to field out of their skin. And just with that catch, it shows how it can actually demoralize the opponent.
And as he runs that down to long on for a single, and also lifts the morals of your team when your teammates see you do something spectacular, something heroic like that, everyone will give in their extra 100% on top of what they are doing on the field.
Really well bowled by Ananta, just outside off stump. That's 8 overs gone, 63 for 3.
Definitely game on. I was going to ask you, Sharon, Nepal's batting depth. You've seen them play a couple more matches earlier. Your thoughts?
Nepal's got a deep batting lineup, and this is when associate countries play with each other, they usually tend to bat deep because of the caliber of cricket that you play within Asia. They all know each other well, similar type of batsmen, so they tend to bat deep. And the wickets as well in the subcontinent helps them to sort of bat deep as well, because they're playing in sort of similar conditions. Current KC, for example, he batted at number 11 for Nepal and scored a 50 to get them over the line to get ODI status. So certainly bat deep and a good side.
Dot ball there, first up. Played down, straight down the ground for a boundary, cutting the two fielders into half. As I was saying earlier, if you want to maximize your chances of getting that boundary, you've got to hit straight past the bowler, hit it hard. You're going to get it 9 times out of 10.
Good shot by Rohit, good intent. Even with Nepal 3 wickets down, they're still going for their shots. And he's hit it straight back to Salador, who's taken a cotton ball.
Brilliant, brilliant. He's more than made up for that drop catch earlier. And Nepal definitely in a spot of bother now.
My oh my, what are we seeing here, Cash?
Well, for Singapore from here on, they just have to keep their bowling tight, avoid those misfields. They will have themselves right in the game, I would say, all the way through.
The new batsman into the crease is Binod Bandari, the Nepalese wicket-keeper.
Have you seen him bat earlier this tournament?
Not quite, Cash. But I'm glad to see him batting now.
Well, Nepali fans will definitely be hoping that he goes on to score a big one from here for Nepal. Things are going to be a bit difficult, as you can see there.
Nudged away, back of square for a single.
Always a good relief to get off strike and get off the mark first up for a batsman.
Absolutely. Cash, you touched on this. I'll get to that in a second. Nudged away again through the onside for a single by Deepak Ari. Cash, you touched on what this means for Singapore in terms of an opportunity, and just by looking at a couple of the celebrations by the players, it just goes to show what it means to them as well. Singapore have obviously been working hard over the last, say, 12 months, trying to put in the... That's a great shot by
Binod.
Caressed through the offside for a boundary. Short ball from Salador, brought back and taken him through the offside. Like I was saying, Cash, Singapore have obviously been training for for a good period of time and putting the hard yards, especially with members who are a lot of working members and coming to train in the evenings, from 6:30 to say 12 or even 1 at times to put in the fitness levels. So just it goes to show that if the hard yard's been done, how much of an opportunity it presents. One, to play good level of cricket, but also make an impact.
Oh yes, absolutely, spot on there, Sharon, and all the youngsters out there watching as well. A lot of you who are passionate about the game. We were talking about this earlier as well in the Malaysia-Singapore game. Almost, I thought there was going to be another catch behind square there, the way the ball ballooned up as he tried to paddle that towards fine leg. But yeah, that importance of hard work, the dedication, the sincerity always pays.
That's really well bowled by Ananta. He's the first bowler to get that much of turn on this wicket as well, and that is the impact a good leg spinner can make in a squad. They certainly go for runs at times, but they certainly pick you the key wickets that you need as well.
Oh yes.
Ambitious shot there by Binod, but again he's looking to break the shackles. Shot ball. Hit straight through to sweeper on the offside. Well, Cash, we spoke about how hard the Singapore players have been training, but a lot of credit has to be given to the coaches and the support staff as well, who day in, day out try to make sure the right facility and the right infrastructure is in place for the cricketers.
Oh, yes.
Well bowled again by Ananta. Gets the leading edge. Dot ball. Sabil Al-Assad, bowling coach. Fahad Masood, fielding coach Mr. Rehan, Arjun Menon, Jamal De Silva, Shoaib Razak, all of them spend ample amount of time. All played by Deepak, just a turn, strike off. Really good bowling here by Ananta, really keeping things tight. It's great to see that he's making the batsmen think for different shots, on executing different shots, and getting them to be a bit more ambitious with their cricket, and he's keeping things simple.
Yes, that's a very important point there, right? Keeping it simple. When you know your game, back yourself to play it the way you do, and not taking anything away from young Rohan Rangarajan. The way he batted today was just absolutely sensational, but what got the better of him was that unconventional shot, which, like Zubin was mentioning, he probably should have tried a bit later in the innings. That 50 was his for the taking, and he missed out, unfortunately.
So, folks, if you've just tuned in, Singapore winning the toss and batting first, scored 192. Top scorer being Tim David and Rohan Rangarajan. Great shot, well fielded by Tim.
Oh, brilliant effort.
At sweeper, keeping the batsman to 2 runs.
Yes, very good effort there by Tim. He's a tall lad, not that easy to run and get low on the ball to pick that up in the boundary, but very good effort.
That's a slog sweep onto the leg side. Fielder's getting underneath it, and he's caught it.
Whoa!
He juggled it a couple of times, and he's picked up the catch.
Another brilliant catch out there. In the end, who's taken that?
My guess would be Anish Param. Yeah, he's fumbled it a couple of times and he's taken it. Brilliant catch.
79 for 5, Nepal. Singapore at this stage definitely in the driver's seat, unless Nepal can pull a rabbit out of their hat.
Nepal certainly needs something special from this point to get across the line. Singapore playing extremely spirited cricket. So folks, if you just join in, Singapore batting first scored 191 for the loss of 6 wickets. Tim David's top scoring with 77 of 43. Rohan Rangarajan scoring 49 and Manpreet Singh getting 42. For Nepal, Abhinash Bohara picking up 4 wickets and Karan Casey with 2. Nepal currently 79 for 5, opened up with Paras Katka and Gyanendra Malla. Malla scoring 39, Paras getting 12. And since then, it's been single digits for Nepal. Great bowling by Salador. Good catching by Singapore to this point. They've certainly been quite energetic and quite spirited on the field.
Oh yes, they've made up for those early fumbles and a couple of drop catches in the beginning. Lifted their game. Skied high in the air.
High
again,
into the air, and Salah gets another one.
That's it. That's taken by Chetan Suryavanshi. Nepal 6 down. Singapore certainly will be confident from here on.
Absolutely, Cash. Just made me think about the different winners for the major tournaments. You had the World Cup in India in 2011, India triumphed. You had the World Cup in Australia in 2015, where Australia came up on top, and just the recently concluded World Cup where England came up on top. Could there be something truly called home ground advantage?
Yes, it used to be. It actually used to be a jinx before. It used to be a disadvantage, but it's definitely turned around in the last few tournaments, and it's rubbed off on this Asia final as well for Singapore. All you youngsters who are watching out there, some fantastic display of outfield catching there by Singapore. Even the one catch as the dot balls bowled that Anish took as well in the second ball of this over, he had that presence of mind to juggle it and still hold on to it.
That's a close one at the bowler's end. Nudged away by Deepakari. Backward square leg. The new batsman is the opening bowler for Nepal, Sompal Kami. Nepal are 80 for 6 of 11. I'll take a break from here and Zubin will take over.
Welcome back, Zubin.
Thank you, Ash. I have to admit, it was getting a bit excited out there. It's been a terrific performance. Singapore have really tightened the pressure, and they've caused the batsmen from Nepal to force the pace. And like I said, this is not one of those grounds which you can clear that easily. It is very misleading. You need to play good cricketing shots and get maximum value. That's a close one.
Yes. So did it hit him outside the line? I'm not sure, but yes, you're right.
Probably some bat in it. No, it pitched outside leg.
Good ball.
Well, I was standing in the crowd, and when Ananta Krishna started his spell, I said this could be the turning moment in the game. And then Chetan Suryavanshi pulled off the most spectacular catch. I think that was a catch that met international standards of spectacular on the boundary. It was not the catch he took, but the way he landed back inside the rope that probably made it that. And I think that to me is, if somebody were to ask me what the turning point of the game was, it was that.
Oh, yes.
It was that catch.
You're spot on, Zubin. That's exactly what we were saying when that catch was taken, although we mistakenly thought it was Janak Prakash who took that catch.
Was it Janak?
I thought it was
Janak, I'm sorry.
Okay, so played out towards deep mid wicket. Very well fielded there by Surendran to cut that down to 2. Sorry, that was Tim. My apologies, folks.
Everything is going for Singapore at this point. They're fielding and bowling like a side on top. The dives are coming in, the balls are being stopped, and from here on, Nepal will need something superhuman to win the game for them, because this asking rate now is almost, or probably more than 12 and over, and it's a very uphill task from here with only 4 wickets left in hand.
Indeed, with all their top batsmen back in the dressing room, it's going to be a superhuman effort from the lower order batsmen. Straight.
That's a very good shot down the track. He used his feet very well and hit it for 6. Beautiful shot there by Dipendra Singh. He's not going to go down without a fight, and he's just showing that. It's something for the fans to cheer about, and it tells the Singapore team that this game is far from over. They still have 4 more wickets to get, and Nepal need exactly 103 runs from here.
Spot on there, Zubin. You just cannot afford to get complacent. You have to stay in the game all the way through. Sometimes, sitting in that driver's seat, sometimes you can get a little bit lazy, thinking we've got the game in the bag. I'm sure you'll be able to share from your experience.
Complacency,
too.
Yes, absolutely. It's been the downfall of many a fielding side from time to time, where the last 2 or 3 wickets have come and taken the game away. So Singapore need to be careful here and not let it slip out of hand.
Quick single taken.
Good fielding, good pressure.
Yes, slightly expensive this over.
But he still bowled a beautiful spell so far, 19 in 3 overs, and that 1 wicket of a spectacular catch.
Oh, yes.
By Janak, as I've been corrected, and rightly so.
Definitely good figures so far by Ananta. He's got good control. That's very important for a leg spinner. This Kumar bowling his last over. Starts off with a dot ball. He's been a consistent performer for Singapore over the years, Selador.
Well bowled again, keeping it tight. Only a single of that ball. This shouldn't worry Singapore too much at this stage. Dot balls and ones. It's as long as they can keep the boundaries down to a minimum.
Exactly. Zubin, Singapore will definitely not be bothered about the ones and twos every so often.
What Sompal and Dipendra will be looking for is the boundary. And, he showed us in the previous over, Dipendra Singh, that he is no mug with the bat. He dance down the wicket. Ananta is not an easy bowler to step out to. He's tall, he's quick through the air, but the way he played that shot told you that there's a lot there as far as Dipendra is concerned as a batsman. He's a good player.
He's hit that out towards deep mid for a couple. Yes, that six was a very good display of that basics of batting, of setting yourself up in that strong base. Oh,
probably hit him outside off stump, the point of impact. And with Selador coming round the wicket, he's probably not going to get a lot of turn, and the ball's probably sliding down. That said, it's still a good shout. I've liked the umpiring in this game. It's been very consistent. And what I've liked particularly in this tournament is that the umpires haven't been trigger happy. Something we've, I think as a player, it's the one thing you want. You're fine with umpires erring on the side of caution than to throw it to the wind. Another good over by Selador. That's the end of his spell. 4 wickets for 25. What a performance that is by the off-spinner. A great spell, probably a match-winning one. We'll see how the game goes, but excellent effort under the circumstances.
Indeed, Zubin, very well bowled by Selador again. He did that in that game against Malaysia as well the other day. Some good, consistent performances throughout this tournament. 4 wickets today, he'll be happy.
4 wickets in a final.
He's held his nerves.
4 wickets in any inning is a great return for a bowler, and in a T20 final of this magnitude, it is a huge effort.
Oh, for sure. Janak's come back in as a batsman's taken. Okay, there's a bit of misfield there, which has resulted in a 4.
It's sloppy on the third man boundary there. Just trying to get who the fielder was.
Exactly to, was it Surendran? No.
Surendran.
It was Surendran. No, actually it was Vijay Kumar, Selador Vijay Kumar. And like we were talking, you can't get complacent.
Yes.
Played out to sweeper. And a mix up there.
And there's the run out.
There was never a second run in there when the ball was hit out at deep extra cover. And Dipendra Singh, obviously understanding that they have to try and go for maximum runs every ball, took a bit of a big punt there. His partner wasn't interested.
I think it was Sompal who's run out. He was going for the second run. Dipendra is now on strike.
Yeah, my apologies, folks.
That was Sompal who played that shot, and somehow they obviously did not communicate amongst themselves. But Dipendra was quite clear from the very beginning that he didn't want the second run, but Sompal kept running. And even though he was fortunate, the throw went to the keeper, but...
Oh, there was plenty of time with him.
There was plenty of time if he decided to come back, yes. But he just kept running. And that did it. Good take by Janak at the bowler's end. It wasn't not the best of throws by Manpreet on the bounce. But Janak kept his cool, caught the ball and took the bails off. The umpire clearly had no hesitation in giving that out.
Exactly. Just that importance of keeping your eyes on the ball. That's
and
what
keeping
it
your
is.
cool.
That's
Yes.
it. A wild swing there. Good comeback by Janak in this over after going for 14 in his first. $100 up, 100 for 7. Not looking pretty for Nepal. It was an interesting shot. There was like a swat pull.
He's a talented batsman, Dipendra Singh. He's got so much time. The way he swatted that ball. Janak he's medium fast, and he dug that in. But the thing I've noticed in this inning in particular has been Amjad Mahboob's field placements, which have been pretty spot on. I know I was a little critical in the beginning of the fielder he had at deep square leg on Vinod's bowling, but other than that, he's got his fielders in the right place most of the time, especially with the catches. And that's another wicket. Looks like it.
Yes. Fingers gone up. Singapore crowds just absolutely going wild out there in the pavilion. I can hear the background noise in the background. Yep, there was a big deviation there, big deflection off the bat. Good simple take for Manpreet. Nepal 8 down. Singapore are definitely now right in with this one. It is from this point on going to be next to impossible for Nepal. What Singapore will be looking for now is to get those remaining 2 wickets and get them quickly to make it a big win for themselves. That's what they will be trying to do. 14 gone, 101 for 8. Folks, this live coverage is brought to you exclusively by the Singapore Cricket Association and Wii Sports. Hope you're enjoying our coverage out at home. A lot of work has been put in by the production team in bringing this together. As this game progresses towards close, do like the Singapore Cricket Association Facebook page as well. It's a wide.
Janak getting a bit carried away there. Bending his back, but losing control of his line and length, giving a wide. I think even the captain's going to forgive him at this stage.
Yes, I would say so. With this score and this number of wickets, you do have a little bit of a leeway of going away with a few loose ones. Finishes off with a dot ball. 1 or 2 for 8 at the end of 14. Exactly 90 runs needed of 6 overs.
You could probably discuss that if there was, a far smaller number in that wickets column next to the scoreboard. But given the number of wickets they've lost, I'm not sure how much of a chance. I don't know enough about Nepal or Dipendra looks good, but I don't know how much Basant Regmi can bat. It does look to be more of a case of how quickly Singapore can wrap this up now.
Oh, yes. And it's also about the pressure on the lower order batsmen. They might be able to bat and bat well, but if chances are that you don't bat out there in the middle that often because your top order does well, in this kind of situation, it makes it even more difficult. That's sort of pulled behind square for a 4 by Dipendra.
Vinod's got to finish well here. This is an older ball now. It's not the new ball that he was bowling with. So he probably needs to adjust his line a little bit and move a little more towards the offside, because the ball will come slower off the wicket, and that'll give the batsman enough time to place him anywhere on the leg side. It was okay. That line was okay when the ball is new, so he'll just have to make that slight adjustment.
Right about that, Zubin.
He doesn't mind that single, gets Dipendra off strike. No, he refused that run. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Dipendra is going to do a Mahendra Singh Dhoni now. He's going to farm the strike for himself,
yes,
and then look to see.
There you go. He's been held to a single there by the fielder there behind square. But as you were saying earlier about Amjad's field placements, he's been good throughout the tournament. Even the game against Malaysia, he was spot on with his catches and the ones out saving the boundaries.
Well, I was telling Sharon earlier, I call him the wicket-taking arm for the Singapore bowling side. More importantly, what I feel is he's a very calm and collected individual. He's never ruffled about anything, and that's something that comes naturally to a player, and especially a leader.
Yes.
I'm personally a big fan of the leaders who can keep their calm in the storm, and he seems to have that, and that's the end of
Dipendra Singh.
Dipendra Singh. Stumped off a wide ball, very well bowled. He saw him charging and bowled it wide down the legs, and a brilliant take by Manpreet Singh.
Yes, he has.
To get that stumping.
He has done a good job behind the stumps, Manpreet Singh. Brilliantly taken.
This reminds me of a stumping in the '96 World Cup. Tendulkar was, I think, batting on 96.
Is this a semi-final?
No, this is the game against Australia. And Tendulkar was going all guns, and Mark Waugh was bowling off spin, and he had him stumped off a wide ball. He saw him charging and bowled it really wide of the off stump, which was it's etched in my memory. And this was again very good bowling by Vinod. He saw the batsman, I think, and he just slipped it down leg side to.
No, very, very intelligent bowling there. And talking about when you talked about calm leaders and having that aspect, which is quite important for all the youngsters out there as well. If you want to lead and lead well, Zubin himself captained Singapore for a number of years. So some good pearls of wisdom there, kids, if you want to learn to lead well.
If you look at some of the best captains in cricket, you will notice that they give very little away from the emotion on their faces. And I was reading Shane Warne's book, No Spin, recently, and he rates Mark Taylor as one of the best. Alan Border and Mark Taylor as the two best captains he's played under. And that's the end. That's it. Singapore have wrapped the game up.
Has wrapped it up. Fantastic, fantastic win for the boys. As you can see, the celebrations, all them going wild out there. The crowd is just loud cheering them on. Singapore are the champions of this ICC T20.